the interesting thing about gelatin is that if you work with sculpture, you have volume and you have weight, which is important parameters for sculpture. And when you work with gelatin, the interesting thing is it's an organic material. It will develop in time. And what it does, in first place, it dries out. That means it loses weight, it loses water, and therefore it will change some of this shape. And just a little bit. It will just not stay this orthogonal, but it will get a little bit like more convex. And the second aspect is that you have, or you might have, some kind of bacterial process going on. And if it goes best, they start on the inside, not on the outside, but in the inside, and they're meant to be anaerobical bacterial processes. That means the material is alive. There's something going on, there's a process, and also the process will end at some point. So it will be terminated at some point. So you could say it has something like a lifespan, in a way. And okay, concerning this time, I must say that when I worked with former object, it was often so that you had some more mold bacterial action going on the outside. And at this occasion, we didn't have this at all. So it was a very high dry substance consistency. Yes. And I think it will be very interesting to see how this will develop in the inside. So I think they will look very aesthetical on the outside, very plain, very fine. And now you will see, unfortunately I won't have the chance to see, but hopefully you will send me pictures to let me know how they will develop in the inside, and if there will be some bacterial process going on, or you can see something, or they're building up some traces of bacterial processes. So we'll have to wait, that's part of the process.
So you thought for the piece for you to change with time, or not really? It's just how the material reacted? No,
that was part of the idea, part of the conception, to work with material that will change in time, and that has a certain kind of an inscription in time. So if you look at the older objects, you will see, okay, there are traces of bacterial processes and all, then they dried out, but you see something went on, there were some organic processes going on. It's like you could say like an inscription of time in the object. So this is what I liked about it, and this is what I thought about it too.
And what can you tell us about the title?
About Virilio cubes?
Yes.
Okay, maybe I tell you first what it is not, so that might make it easier. It is not a representation of the ideas or aspects of ideas of Paul Virilio. It is more like an associative thing. There are elements and aspects in the work that might refer to ideas of Virilio in some way, but they're not identical. For example, you have the cubes which are kind of very orthogonal, kind of architectural, have an more architectural approach, and which are confronted with the sound which consists of skateboard sounds, which is, I mean, I know that from Europe, that you often hear that if you get in the center of the city, you hear like skateboard sounds. So this is like a subculture, and that refers to an urban sphere. And so urbanism and architectural elements, I think you could refer it in some way to Paul Virilio. Also, what he of course is kind of famous for is coming up with his theories of perception through speed, acceleration. And of course there's animation in the sounds that are permeating through these objects and transportation. You know, skateboards are, you could say it's an alternative way of transportation if you want to go so far. And these are, you know, these are aspects that might refer in a certain symmetry to the ideas of Paul Virilio.